How about now?
I can hear you now.
All right. Technology is going to be the death of me tonight, I think. So, all right, back to it. Episode number 8, Fuel the Fire podcast. Got our guest, Jason Carriveau, Battalion Chief, sitting about 1.5 miles to the south of me right now. We probably could have got computers and faced each other and talked to each other, but that is super cool. Knowing Jason, I've got a story. I thought about this. Got a story of how I met Jason. Did I come down when I was in Devil's Lake? Did I come down and do Courage to Be Safe or the cancer
Yep.
prevention one? Which one was it?
Courage to Be Safe.
Yeah. So the whole room is full. Whole room is plumb full, and then this guy walks in late. And I stop everything like Rick and I usually do, and we just let him walk in. And silently he sits in the back, and then and we talk, why are you late? And then he rolls up his sleeve and he's got his big old American flag tattoo.
That was my first thank me for my service tattoo that I make fun of myself for. But yeah, so every time I look at this thing, it's like a little bit of Berg in there. So whatever.
Yeah. So fast forward like a year or two, I show up on his front doorstep, and I'm sure he's like, this guy's here. This is who's working with me now.
I was embarrassed when you called me out. Yeah,
I know. It was funny.
I hate being late. So
yeah. There's nothing worse than being late. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
So that was funny though. I had to tell that story before we got started. So
yeah, for sure.
So, all right, we've got a few notes. This is my big screen over here. Sorry, so I'm not ignoring you or looking out in the window. But just bear with me. We got a puppy last 2 weekends ago, so that thing may be going all Velociraptor later. So I put my earbuds in, so hopefully we don't hear it. But got a few notes. We'll kick off the podcast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, where you started, how things got going in the fire service?
Awesome. Born and raised West Fargo, North Dakota. Pretty much a homebody, didn't go too far. Started with my interest in the fire service. My dad was a volunteer with West Fargo. My uncle Mike was also a volunteer with West Fargo. And I had a great grandpa that was also in the fire service. Not West Fargo, but so runs in the family. At the time, West Fargo was volunteer. So West Fargo started in 1940 as a volunteer fire department. And, when I came along and I was old enough to kind of comprehend what my dad and my uncle were doing, super jealous. Pager goes off. They, just the classic story. Pager goes off. They turn the blue light on. They squeal the tires to try to impress me. And I'm like, well, I could do that. I want to do that. And then, I'd be riding around town with my dad a little bit. And if there's smoke in the air, he'd bring me over there. And he just got me hooked, like straight up hooked. There's a pool table at the fire hall. We went to the pool. I mean, there's no question what I was going to be projected to do later on in life. So, so my dad had 19 years on with West Fargo. He made it up to the rank of engineer. And then my uncle Mike was on just over 30 years and making it up to assistant chief. So,
oh, wow.
Super cool that, and all those years were volunteer. So which is fantastic because we all know how much effort goes into that. And, it's a lot. So big shout out to them. They got me absolutely hooked. I started in 2011 as a volunteer and showed up a lot. If I wasn't on the first truck, something was wrong. Very, very, very into it. Definitely had a big Kool-Aid stain. I was all ate up with it. I probably still am all ate up with it today, but slowly worked my way up, I guess you could say, which I'm super lucky and fortunate for. Didn't take any of that for granted. In 2018, I was lucky enough to make it onto the first full-time crew for suppression. We had 2 crews at that time in West Fargo. So that was very big. West Fargo Fire Department, Inc. split the city portion, and the city of West Fargo acquired that. So I landed a brand new full-time job. My wife gives me a lot of crap because she's like, what are you going to do now that your hobby is your full-time job.
Is now work.
I'm just going to do it more probably.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, once again, she wasn't wrong. So started in 2018. The other big learning curve, huge learning curve, was they also threw me the keys to the red helmet as the captain. So not only was I, at the time, I was a volunteer as a driver. Then I switched to full-time, and they're like, all right, kid, now you're a full-time guy. Here's a red helmet. By the way, we're also starting a full-time fire department. And here's a thing called a 24-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I had massive learning curve. I definitely look back and wish I could do a lot of things differently. But at the same time, I learned a lot of lessons that have helped me out current day. So as much as I want to change, I'm happy that I went through it that way, in a sense. So then in 2022, I took another test, and I got the white helmet up to the Battalion Chief. And that's where my current role is now. I absolutely love the role. And I love the role because I get to help coordinate. It's not so much that I'm in charge and I'm the boss. My ego doesn't need that 100%. But I have a little bit of the OCD, and I like to organize things. I like to help people get, hey, we need more guys for ventilation. We need more traffic control, just things like that. I really enjoy trying to help organize and orchestrate a lot of the moving parts like that. So that's where I'm at for position wise. In 2025, I completed the managing officer program through the NFA. And now in 2026, I joined you, Berg. I'm heading out there for the EFO. So I say all those things, like, the rank and the NFA stuff, not for a look at me statement, but it's just, like I put myself out there. So if others want to pursue that, hopefully they reach out and I can at least give some advice. It's probably going to be advice of what not to do because I did it. So it's more,
I've been down
more like that. But honestly, like when people see me at the station or out and about at conferences, I don't need them to know that what my rank is. I just want them to know that I'm Jason from West Fargo.
Yep, that's absolutely right. There is nothing, no need to be flashy, no need to be anything. You're just one of the guys. It's I actually didn't know you had an uncle in the fire service. I knew your dad was part of it. They're very similar story to what I started with. My dad was the chief for over 30 years in Edmore. Uncle was I think he was the secretary of the volunteer department. I know my grandpa Kenny was the chief before dad was. So I remember my dad and my uncle Doug, they were taking firefighter 1 in Devil's Lake, and they come over to study and some rope technique, but they tied me up in like a quick litter and lifted me up. I don't know how old I was, but very similar story, I guess, that I went to school for elementary ed and had too much fun. And I'm like, well, I've always liked being part of the fire side when I was volunteering back home. So that's where I went that direction too. So I did not know you had that big of a following in the family.
Yeah. If you ever heard the story of anyone, the name Crash come up, that's my uncle Mike, is Crash. And then actually in this, this photo here, that's him with his old white helmet. And then when I got promoted to battalion. So that was a super old, like just straight plastic helmet. It felt like, but super cool. I mean, it was a really cool picture. So, and I finally bought a leather for the first time, which if you're going to buy a leather helmet, buy it when you're a firefighter rank so you can actually wear the dang thing. That's just a $13 helmet that goes from my helmet rack to the back of the pickup, back to the rack. So once again, don't make that mistake.
And I'm the other way. I do too many training fires, so I'll wreck a leather in training. Not the real deal. I'm like putting mine in the oven. That's about what I do. No, a dirty oven. So, all right. You didn't instruct a whole lot before, right? Not that long ago. You didn't instruct, but kind of this new program for the NDFA kind of came along. Can you kind
Yeah.
of run us through that whole command program that you started?
Yep.
Talk a little bit about how you've implemented it in maybe Defrost and
Yep.
the school down in Wahpeton. That'd be cool.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, you're right. I didn't do any instructing really. I've always been interested because I live and breathe the fire world, right? But then hanging out with you, once you got on with us full time, I got to see like how you and Rick Jorgensen do things. I'm like, that's pretty cool. That's organic. It's legit, and hats off to you guys. So kind of intrigued me. And then, that's the thing. If you want to instruct, start talking to the current instructors and saying, hey, can I shadow? And then just try to get your foot in the door and learn. Just be quiet and learn is the big thing. So NDFA acquired, I think it's 4 or 5 computers essentially. And it's that same company that makes the NDFA's pump simulator, FACC, FACC. It's the same company. So this computer program, think of it kind of like Sims or Roller Coaster Tycoon. If you're not our age, you're probably not going to know those references, but it's kind of like that. Not quite Grand Theft Auto cool, but the main thing is that it's a computer program that's intended for weird command and control of incident command. So a lot of the guys want to play the video game and like go put the fire out, but that's not the point. It's coordinating where you want your crews to go, where your crews to park, keeping just everything in line that you would at a normal fire scene. So we did a little bit of a train the trainer out in Bismarck from the FAC rep out there, went through it. There's probably 4 or 5 of us out there. Computers ended up back in West Fargo, and we the legend of Morgan Mad Dog Venton. That's Mad Dog is his name that he's known by in the NDFA. He took that program by himself and learned it, and probably I would put him up against the guy that instructed us on it. And he built out numerous scenarios that we used in the class. And without him, I tell the class every time we run it, without Mad Dog, we couldn't use that program. I mean, it's just that simple. He is that good at it. So Mad Dog made a couple of those, and we tested it out at State Fire School, and it went really good. I would say that we keep adjusting it every time we do it because we're not satisfied. It went really good, but we're like, man, we could do this better. And we always want to tweak. We look at the comments that come back from the students, which please, when you get those surveys, please be honest and just shoot it straight so we don't keep making a bad program. But
for sure.
Yeah, so the first year went really well, and we put in a request to give the class a second year, and it went really good too, which sparked into us talking to you and for your fireground evolutions to maybe, hey, let's intermix. We'll bring the command stuff. Let's maybe intermix it with your fireground or the fireground evolutions, which kind of just kept snowballing into, we ended up with the Dickinson guys out at Defrost. And we brought the command track out there, and then we commanded, we did our classroom day 1. Day 2 was live fire incident command. Can't get that anywhere else in the state of North Dakota.
No.
So, and then we also, after that, we integrated it into the North Dakota SEND, our Southeast North Dakota Regional School, ran by Max, and integrated it down there. Not live fire, but just the same sets and reps with the fake smoke, and then integrated.
We did it in the dorms.
Yeah. So, and that's probably like, the computers are great, but doing it live, you get that that your adrenaline goes up a little bit, and you have to deal with that. As instructors, we're able to play like the role of the news, trying to knock on the window, trying to distract, stuff like that. There's people yelling, there's pass alarms going off because they're not, guys just aren't moving and things like that. So the element of making it more realistic is pretty neat.
That's really cool. I had never heard until we started talking about trying to integrate it into fire school, and we never got there. The stars never aligned to come on Sunday. I was so happy that you guys tried it at Dickinson and it worked so well. at
Yes.
defrost. I think
Yep.
that what you've told me, and from what others I've heard about, saying that it was as close to real life as you could get. I watched you guys. We were doing our engine company class down in Wahpeton for the Southeast Regional, and you guys pulled the car right up, the pickup or whatever, the command vehicle from Dwight,
Yep.
and had people in there. The dispatchers were there. Like that brought everything around and made it full circle to ensure that those guys were getting as much real life traffic. And
Yep.
like we didn't, like you said, we had those screens from the NDFA and we had fake smoke, but we had interior attack, we had command, we had search, we had ladders, we had noise, we had some smoke in a barrel, so it smelled real. Like it was very legit in the Southeast school. So I'm sure what you guys did in defrost was really, really worth it.
Yeah. And so probably what the coolest part was is that, like we have our state of North Dakota, and I just want to say that we got some solid talent throughout the whole. Oh, are you still there, Berg? You just went black. Your screen did.
We did lose him, but you can keep talking if you want. Hopefully he'll come back.
All right, sounds good. He's probably already sick of me.
Oh boy.
What I was gonna say is that what's really cool is that we have a lot of solid talent all throughout the state of North Dakota, and these regional schools it's not so much like it's only the western side is only training with the western side, and the eastern side is only training with the eastern side. Like one thing that we've really they focused on out in Dickinson is they started to integrate people from around the state, which I think is excellent, because going to outside training is good. Intermingling with others is fantastic. On the class that I put on, which was fantastic, was I get to integrate with Chief Freeman and then Chief Presnell out there on the command track. That was year one. Year two is Chief Freeman and myself, and it's cool because it just shows that even though we've never worked together on the same shift, on the same department, we can still go and put a class together for the rest of the state, and we jive really well. We're on the same track. The other thing too is that we're making incident command cool. I know no one wants to get stuck doing that. Maybe it's not as appealing as like going and inventing a roof or spraying water or going for search, but the incident command portion is very important, and getting live sets and reps at it is crucial, because I would argue that most of the people that came into our class, their last incident command thing they did was fire 1 and 2, ICF 1, 2, and 400.
700 and 800.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You know the numbers. So,
yeah.
But it's important just to get those sets and reps. And, like if you pull up fires up on your TV and you just go off of that, that's good. But live sets and reps, especially with other people, it puts you on a different edge, because you don't really want to mess up in front of other people or anything like that, which, and no one throws a curveball at you like that, but it really makes you step your game up. And the other wild part, especially out in Dickinson, we had 7 engine companies and 7 truck companies in the staging area. And I mean, you want to talk about FDNY staffing, which is not realistic in North Dakota, but at one time we had 8 fires. I think it was 8 fires set for one evolution, with 10 buildings or props that we could send people to. Yeah, it was awesome. And the guys that go through our course crush it on that day. So it's super cool. Very, very fun.
Just the classroom part of it, and just explaining how you need to stay calm and handle step 1, then step 2, then step 3, and just assign units and recycle and assign units and recycle. That's really cool. I didn't know you had that many trucks out there. That's awesome.
Okay, so I should asterisk this. So how they have it set up is the trucks are by the props.
Sure.
So when I say 7 truck companies, it's literally a group of 3 people standing. I call it the bullpen, because everyone's just They're
ready to go.
adrenaline is through the roof, and they're ready to do this. Everything that they learned the day prior, they get to do it hands-on.
Right.
And they get dispatched. We do the command board, and then they're on the radios, and they have a company officer. It is super cool.
Yep. That's really cool. That class, all the years I've been volunteering and then full-time since 2001, I've never heard of a class like that. Not until I think like Castro's is doing something online now in fire engineering, but that was such a good class to jump on and take the reins of, because North Dakota needed it. I think I'm sure you said it before. You may think you know what you're doing until you get there. You get a couple units misplaced or in the wrong area or something in rural North Dakota, and things could go bad really quick. So having this background, I know you guys give them the command sheets. I mean, they could go back and tweak them, or they could just run with those.
Yeah.
And if they have a clipboard, they're set up, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So we bring files available. If nothing in the fire service is original. So we all borrow from each other. So, I mean, obviously if we borrow, we'll give credit where it's due. But the one thing that we're probably seeing the most in this class, and it doesn't matter, volunteer or full-time, honestly, if you're a firefighter, that's all I want to know. So what we're seeing, and this is probably the thing that drops my gut the most, is that accountability is not happening.
Yeah.
And so we talk about accountability. We talk about probably the cheapest form of that is going to Fleet Farm and getting some cow tags. Okay.
Yep.
So we talk about that. That's step one. Step two is assigning a name to the number on the cow tag.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's your accountability, that's great. But keep that in the command post, and please, like, don't scar me anymore, but do not have an accountability cone at that front door, because that just means that you're inside the building and then that's it.
Yep.
So that's why we go back to the command board where we say engine 1 was assigned first floor fire attack. So they theoretically should be on first floor, just as simple as that. That cone doesn't keep track of anything. So that's the number one thing I push for is accountability, especially on the volunteer side, because we don't know who's going to show up.
No.
And I've lived that portion from 2011 to 2018. I had no idea who was going to be on our truck. Sometimes, it was one or two, and sometimes people came out of the woodworks, just depended on what was said on the pager, honestly. And then we talk about the command sheet a lot. We bring one version of it. It's very intimidating because it's 11 by 17 sheet of paper, but people learn to like it. What's cool is that I had one department follow back with me, and they made a command sheet on a dry board or a whiteboard that was a dry erase that they just had at the station. And they used the label maker, and they pretty much kind of took that sheet into a version on the whiteboard. Perfect. Better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
It's just, we have to do something, because if, God forbid, if something happens, and when that gets investigated and the incident commander is like, I had everything up here. Stop it. You're not that good. Do not do that. It's like, you will. And the other part too is that that mindset, it's getting complacent. And then B, in my class, we watch a portion of Top Gun because I'm a big fan of it. But we go over that portion where they keep getting shot down by the rockets, and Maverick is like, "Why'd you get shot down? Why did you kill your partner?" And then he goes, "Don't tell me, tell their family."
Yeah,
I absolutely connected with me for everything that I do every time I go to shift, and I try to relay that information to anyone that's looking to go into incident command. So it's a big deal. We have a huge responsibility on our shoulders. So we really need to train hard.
Being that incident commander isn't just, you're not just there to drive that battalion pickup or be in the white helmet. Holy moly, kids. Sorry if you're hearing all my extra music here. It's not just being there, being in charge, wearing the white helmet. You have to think about that. That is that is really important, that you are the one in charge. You're in charge of everybody that is on that scene. You're in charge of getting everybody home. You're in charge of getting everybody there safe. So it is really important that you have to take this role really serious. So Eric says rural North Dakota knows and agrees they need more training on incident command. How can we meet this goal as a state, he says?
Well, you know, probably the easiest chance for, like, if you want to take the class, state fire school is probably going to be your easiest bet. Yeah. The other thing too is that you know, this is an NDFA prop essentially, right? The prop is the computers, so you can treat it like that, and you can get a hold of the NDFA office and request the class.
Yeah.
So, that's the other part that I wish more people would know, is that how much resources they have available from the NDFA, and really how easy it is to get those resources. The easy part is making the phone call. It might take a little bit of logistics and a little bit of time, but that's very understandable. But you can get a lot of stuff right to the front step of your fire department.
Yeah, for sure. The NDFA is an awesome source for all this equipment. So please, if you're an instructor, officer, training officer in your department, get a hold of the NDFA and just start talking to those guys there and see what they got to offer. Lydia asks, if a firefighter is yet to take your class or any command class other than the ICSs they got for Fire 1 or Fire 2, what can they do to help themselves be more prepared now? What have you seen in your classes that really like opened these incident commanders' eyes to prepare them?
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I listen to radio traffic often, because radio traffic can be very difficult to understand, especially when people are on air and they get excited. They talk fast, they talk loud, they talk soft, everything in between. So what I would do to prepare myself is I'd go hit YouTube and just listen to some radio traffic. That's probably going to be a good start. And then if you can get just a basic command sheet, if you get a hold of me, I can send you some copies. But if you Google, there's some command sheets, and just keep track on that sheet that you download and try to keep up with that radio traffic. Yeah. That's a really good start on that. Following Anthony Castros and Chief Brian Brush out of Midway, they have a book called Mastering the Fireground, called The Chaos. That is probably going to be, it should be the incident command book, period, that you read and follow. They absolutely crushed it. They combined Castro's West Coast with actually, you know, Brian Brushy's Midwest, you know, directly south of us. So that's a fantastic resource there too. And then just reach out to your current incident commanders. Ask them, because incident command is going to be a little bit localized to how your fire department runs it. That's another big key part in our class. We show you ways to do it. Mm-hmm. You decide what's going to work for your department. By no means am I the one-stop shop for you need to do it this way and only this way. If you do it a different way than I do it, I want to talk to you, and I just want to ask questions and learn. And I might say, okay, it probably won't work for me, or maybe I'll snag two things out of that and integrate it.
Yep, might be something. I'm sure, just like when I run around and evaluate or run around and teach, you pick up something from everybody every time. So just the little slivers of information that you're able to take from each department is awesome. So getting out to these classes is really important. And Are you running around the state and doing this? Are you willing? Are you taking weekenders or nights, or what are you taking?
Gosh dang it. We've only, like, I say mobilized like a nerd, but we've only went out one time. We've only been requested one time to go out. Yep. Otherwise, it's usually just like a regional school where we get requested. So, but it just takes a simple phone call, honestly. So.
Is this something you could slide into 4 hours at somebody's Wednesday night drill? Or
so there is one department that brought some concerns forward to us and said, hey, can you integrate this? We have these like set of issues. Can you integrate this into your presentation? And I said, yep, you bet. Well, I ended up keeping it into my whole class that I do, because it was almost more of a, excuse me, it's almost more of a, your command presence starts at the station.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
not even when the tones drop for a structure. So we kind of talk about, well, we talk about it extensively, how it starts at the station first, but we can definitely do a 4-hour. Might not get a lot of computer reps, but that's okay too, because just talking about it aloud is good. And it's not death by PowerPoint per se. I wouldn't say that. That's just not my style. I got too much ADHD to sit there and be monotoned.
You don't need this. You don't need this.
Yeah. Yes. Oh,
inside joke.
Inside, 100%. But chances of people knowing who that is might be high.
From the area.
But yeah, we can really tailor it to whatever. So
are you looking for any extra help? Maybe I know you do it and Curtis does it. Are you open to somebody else that's got a strong background? I mean,
100%. 100%. It would be, I would be doing a disservice if I tried to silo this right to me. I mean, it's a NDFA, it's a state prop. So if anyone is interested on, helping out or coming out to some classes and we, tag team it, that's cool with me. So I'm a wide open book, and I feared that I think we're like 2 years into this, and it's just been kind of me. And then like you said, I go out to Dickinson with Chief Freeman, and I'm like, how do I should probably say, hey, if anyone wants to join the party, essentially. Because definitely not me trying to hold the football solo.
Yeah. It's not too feasible for you to run to Williston or Crosby or something crazy like that on a Tuesday night,
Yep. So
for sure.
The only difficult part is that tech portion of it. That's you if you're not a techie, computer gamer, it's not easy. I literally do the classroom portion, and then I help instruct on the scenarios, and Mad Dog does all the tech.
Oh, Eric's full of them tonight. What rank do you suggest takes this class? Who do you think would benefit the most?
So, not the obvious answer. Don't think if you don't have a white helmet, you don't need to take an incident command class. So when you start taking higher NIMS courses, like the 400 and 3 and 400,
3 and 4,
that's to open your eyes to that officer level, right? So if you're a firefighter or an officer and you want to open your eyes to the incident command level, just to give you an idea of what their lens looks like, it might help you as you sit backseat on the fire truck. When I'm okay, if I see something significant, I need to tell the incident commander. That's because when I took this class, that's the information that I needed for my command board. So I think that anyone really could take this class, and not with the intentions of I'm going to do this tomorrow, but just to give you a rough idea of the expectations. And I think that would help the communication between firefighter and then command level.
And knowing how to run, that the scene needs to be ran, that somebody needs to be in charge. There needs to be a structure. That's one of the main takeaways, I'm assuming, is that you have to build a structure. There has to be people in charge.
Yep. Somebody needs to be in charge, and that person that's in charge, stay at a rig. Stay at it. If you don't have so I know some departments have a battalion chief rig or a chief's rig. If you don't, no big deal. Just sit in the fire engine. Sit in the front right seat.
Yep.
That's perfect. Just remove yourself so you don't get that temptation of helping with the scene. Your help is keeping the chaos organized. That's your help. It's not physical help. And when the camera crew comes by, they aren't going to see you working, but that doesn't mean you're not. You're working in that cab.
Choreographing.
Yes. 100%.
And then like you said, there's engine noise. Could be, if you're in a tanker situation, there's trucks driving back and forth. There's fans, there's chainsaws. And if you're inside of a vehicle somewhere, you have eliminated any of that background noise. So
Yep.
that was a great, Lydia, that was a good segue. Lydia added to her question, has anybody asked to throw a Mayday in there and manage a Mayday? Have you gotten that far yet?
We have not. No.
Nope.
We have a Mayday class coming up in West Fargo,
Yep.
and I'm hoping to pull some ideas off of that class probably. So, but that would be a whole nother bit. And then that would be we'll show you a way, but I've really got to integrate to your department. So I think what is Blue Card always touts that stat, and I forget the number of incident commanders that have practiced running Maydays. God, I shouldn't even have said that. I'm gonna butcher it. So but essentially, they're saying like it's not impressive. We need to practice this more.
Yeah. Everybody needs to hit those more. That is hopefully a once in a career situation, and you need to be able to manage it without any other bumps in the road. Whether you're passing it off to somebody else or whether you're handling everything yourself in rural North Dakota, you have to know how to call more resources or handle it with the resources you got. So,
Hey, to go back to your location of the incident commander success story out of Williston. So we had a class of 3 or 4. Wasn't very big, but the cool part is that they got insane sets and reps throughout the day. It was awesome. But I said, hey, we'll have one of Dickinson's command cars out there. We're going to use that as our incident command. The gentleman was like, I'm an exterior guy. I like to be out there. I like to hear the fire. I like to, smell it, all that stuff. And I want to be out in the yard. I want my guys to see me. And I said, nope, that's cool, because you go on the East Coast and everyone's going to sit there and agree with you. That's where you should be.
You're all outside.
And I'm not here to go one way or the other, but I'm like, just come with an open mind, try sitting in the vehicle and just give it a shot. What you want to think about it, that's on you. Within 5 minutes, I didn't even ask him the question. He looked at me. He's like, I'm very comfortable right now. And I'm like, fantastic. Sweet. And then check that off in the win column. So
there you go.
But I said, hey, but when the scene, dwindles down, I said, that's when you go on the radio and command's mobile. And then that's when you go grab your gloves out of the back. And that's when you help the guys roll hose. And that's when you get your points back with your crew. And when you go by them, fist bump them, say, good job, slap them on the back, motivate them, say, hey, thanks for your effort. You guys worked hard today. Always, always, always give your crew the credit.
Yeah. That's super cool. That's a good point too, is get in there, help out. Everybody needs to clean up. Everybody needs to be part of the overhaul and investigation. So there's always work to be done. Yep, for sure. Cool. Any more on your class? I had a point and then I had a question and it went right over top of my head. So I don't know what that was. Should have a notebook.
No.
Name. I don't think we've said the exact name of it yet. How would you request it?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's got to be like at least 5 or 6 other classes named this. I didn't intentionally copy it, but I was just like, oh, let's just go Main Street Command. Because that's like you do like just practice scenarios and you just pick Main Street Command, for a name. That's all it is. So just get out there and send a request into NDFA for Main Street Command, and they'll likely get a hold of us and we can try to coordinate something. So because we need some good Wi-Fi, and just some logistical things to set up.
Sure. Some power, some Wi-Fi, some tables, some projector or TV or something like that.
Yep. And we can use, like, we have like those little radios that you can get at Fleet Farm. We can use those, or we can use your own radios, which is always good to use your own radios just so you get more sets and reps on them. So
that was my one other question. Have you gotten into departments' radios and they've really had some aha moments with those, or haven't you really dabbled in that?
No, because like whenever we use the department radios, it's over in Dickinson.
Okay. You're on.
Yeah. So it's it's not.
That would be really cool for a rural department around here. Maybe you don't get on them as much as you should. That would be really cool. Get a hold of your dispatch and get a talk group or use one of the old VLAWs or whatever.
Yeah.
And just be able to flip through some channels is really important.
Yeah.
Those things.
Start inviting your dispatchers to your trainings.
Yep.
Like half the time, like I know we always say like, oh man, dispatch isn't listening. Oh, you know, we sit and gripe. Well, I guarantee you half the time we are the issue. I know sometimes we like to think we're perfect, but we're not. So just sit down and invite them out to a training, and you know, they can see your side of things, you can see theirs, and chances are, you know, you iron a lot of things out.
Yep. Do you have an ideal class size? What are you looking for? What's not enough? What's too many?
It kind of depends on where we're at. Like out at defrost, I would say like no more than 5. But that's just like, but if we have more, like the first year, I want to say we had probably just under 10 people. So this year is a lot smaller, but it was totally okay. I mean, it was very, very good. So
yeah. What was down in Wahpeton for the Southeast Regional? There was quite a few at that one. Wasn't there?
That was probably like 10 or 12, maybe.
Yeah, I remember a bunch.
Take, you know, but then it's just the sets and reps of but we run. We're able to run 2 people through, so you can either be the IC and or the scribe. So
right.
And I know sometimes that a scribe isn't you know, like a likely chance to have that, but it shows the benefit of if it shows up on scene, snag them into that IC post, and just, you know, say,
it's
hey,
just something great to bump ideas off of, and they're tracking it for you, and you can have your radios in your hand and talking. Yeah, for sure. Cool. That was a great description on that class, and that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. That was a couple of those notes. Oh boy, I have a good idea fairy on here. That's Jason. I don't remember what I was gonna go with that one, but that's what I gave Jason as a nickname, was the good idea fairy a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because that segues right into outside training, and typically that's where the good idea fairy thing comes into play. I just wanted to mention a little bit of outside training. Please go to outside training. Where I started we didn't go to outside training too much, and I can tell you that we drank our own Kool-Aid, and we thought our stuff didn't stink.
Yep.
And it wasn't like we're horrible, but we definitely could do things a lot better. So when you get a chance to go to outside training, the big thing is please try to bring something back to your department, but don't try to jam it down people's throat at the same time. Yeah. Been there, done that, seen others do that. Does not go well. Please do not do that. But Rob Fisher out there, he's a retired BC from the West Coast. His saying is 10 pounds of pressure 100% of the time. So say, hey guys, I just got back from this conference, learned this cool way to throw a ladder. I'd love to show you guys. Maybe another day. Okay. Well, let another day happen and like, hey, check this out. You guys told me that you'd wait another day. I just want to show you. What do you think of it? In West Fargo, we went through it on our transition to a new hose load, on our transition to smooth bores, things like that. Not an overnight operation. And that's okay, because it's getting vetted at that point. Even though it took a little bit of time, it's well worth it. We have really, really, really nice attack packages in West Fargo. Super excited about them. So it's worth the wait, but how you go about it, you will likely acquire a target on your back. You will probably get called a good idea fairy, but just know if your intentions are gold, keep pushing forward. Don't get discouraged. If you hear the rumor mill, just silence it. Turn the volume down.
Just keep plugging away.
But some of the outside training that I have really benefited from, that's close-ish kind of to North Dakota, Mile High Conference out in Colorado, firemanship in Aurora, Illinois. I think that's only a 10-hour drive from the eastern side of the state, at least. So that's drivable. County fire tactics with Chief Ike down there. Prairie fire, we got that one coming up here. And then over in Minnesota, follow the Northland Fools on the Facebook. They have a lot of good leads to classes, and Minnesota is just as close for us. Down in South Dakota, another group to follow is Firefighter Skill Mastery. Cool group. They're a 501c3 group. They provide free training throughout the state of North Dakota. And then they also do a thing called Tactics on Tap, which is just a presenter at a brewery. So you get to do that. I got to meet them through, I used to do some demoing for hen nozzles. Got to meet them on a hen nozzle night. Talked them into coming up to West Fargo to do a Tactics on Tap, and it was awesome. But what's cool when you go to these conferences is that you get to meet people. What was wild is that right before defrost started up, we were at firemanship in Aurora, Illinois. We go out there. Well, the Dickinson guys were out there. And I literally told them that night, I'm pretty sure I was talking to Rhodey, but I was like, why are we in Aurora, Illinois meeting up when we live in the state
Why do we have to do that?
4 hours away? It was awesome that we were both out there, like getting that awesome, some of the best training out there with Brothers in Battle. But like, this is absolutely ridiculous that we don't even talk to that we don't talk and or train with each other within our same state. So it's just wild. But
I did that exact same thing at FDIC the last time I was out there. I was walking down the street. We were headed to the AAA baseball game, and I hear Berg. It was the guys from Bismarck. They were all there too doing FDIC. So FDIC is a 12-hour drive. I mean, it is a long day. In the car, don't go through Chicago. That's terrible. Go south first. Learn that the hard way. But you can get out there. It is. You do the early bird special and you pay early, and it isn't horrendously expensive. The hotels eat you up, but you could get out there for 3-4 days and sit in on some awesome classes. You could go at the beginning of FDIC and take hot classes from all these guys. Yes, North Dakota is awesome with defrost, bringing some big names in. Prairie Fire is bringing some big names in. Alexandria, the Northland Fools are bringing some big names in. So you don't have to go to FDIC to get into some of these big name people. It is the exact same people that are out at FDIC, at Lucas Oil, out around Indianapolis, teaching these same classes to everybody around the country. So North Dakota is bringing some of these big names in there. So make sure to catch some of these local conferences. But I also agree, get to some of those other ones, the firemanship, the fellowship, the people that you meet. Same with the NFA, the National Fire Academy out in Emmitsburg. I text these guys that I've been with weekly. We're talking about stuff that's going on at our departments, or they're bumping ideas off of you, or you're sending them ideas. So, and you don't have to be a full-time firefighter to go out to any of these things. You can, it's harder for volunteers to take time off and get away from work and home, but it is worth it if you're into the fire service in your city for sure. One other one out in Duluth, they have a Chiefs conference in Duluth, and they have another conference in Alexandria. Like those, they get some big name people there too. They who did I get a coin from? Who's the
Von Oppen.
Yep, Von Oppen. I mouthed off to him and he laughed at me and gave me a coin. So I don't remember. That was pretty good. So yeah, there is so many good classes that if you're a firefighter that's into the job, or you're the training officer of your fire department, get out to these guys and take stuff that's talking about instructing, take stuff that's going to help you instruct, take something that you're not familiar with, so you can bring it back to your department and make everybody better. That's what it's all about, is trying to make everybody better in your department.
For sure.
Hold on. I had one question ripped by here. Besides IC, what is your go-to for training? What do you enjoy? What would you go to?
I kind of follow groups, I guess. Anything that involves Coley Moore, Chief Ike, Brothers in Battle, Chief or Brian Brush, Castros. Really, I follow groups. Eric Wheaton with Can Confidence. We're bringing him to West Fargo here this year yet, which is going to be absolute dynamite. Really excited about that. But just make sure the people that you follow, you vet. Make sure they're good people. Like they're absolutely genuine people, and the fire service will vet them. Like one thing that firefighters are really good at, they can smell BS a mile away. So and I think we all can dish BS as a joke, but we can also smell it right away. So just make sure you're being authentic, and don't be afraid of who you are. Just be real.
Yep. Be out there, go out there, meet people, get uncomfortable with yourself. And that's really important, is to really get out there and check some of these classes out.
Yeah.
No. All right, cool, man. Our hour, you've been talking fast, man. I don't know.
Hey, that's good. Hey, can I go over some books real quick?
Yep, some books real quick, and then I got a couple announcements too. So
okay, all right, cool. Books that I really enjoy. I don't have them because they're at the station. Unfortunately, I didn't plan. 9Ls, Corley Moore, one of my favorite guys ever. Cornerstones of Leadership with Frank Lee. That's also there.
Yep, that's a good one.
Okay, all right. I was talking about it. Okay, Master of the Fireground. Awesome. Okay, this is an absolute must. I don't care what rank you are. Book Search. It's the red letters. If you know, you know. First edition. That's what that means. Follow up to the Book of Search. The Work of Search. New book I picked up off the scrap. Mind of Fire. And it talks about the OODA loop. This is going to be really over my head. I can already tell.
Oh, the OODA loop's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. And then I got a workbook to go along with it. And I'm a slow reader, so it's not going to go fast.
Where'd you find that one at?
The bookstore.
Yeah,
that was my first dad joke of the night. You got to be happy about that. I held back. No, I think I was Amazon.
This is on. Yep.
Yeah. So this Kyle Samsing was 2 episodes ago on the scrap, I think.
Okay.
So 1 or 2. One other thing. I'll end now because I could keep talking. Trust me. So kind of a cool story, and I don't tell the story because I want sympathy. I don't talk about it a whole lot, right? But my main goal is I want people to be a good person as a firefighter, be a straight up good person. So one episode of the scrap, God dang it, I wrote that note down, that I want people to check out. Scrap 257. So that has Chief Dave McGrail from Denver, and he is between him and Brent Brooks, they're like the high-rise gurus, and they're awesome. So he got to do a scrap with his dad, and his dad's name is Pat McGrail. So I lost my dad to ALS when I was 14 years old, and he was in the fire service. So that it got ripped away from me to run calls with my dad. So when I see family members in the fire service together, I don't get jealous, but I absolutely want you to know how lucky you are to be in the fire service with a relative, especially if it's your father or mother. So when they did this scrap, I want people to watch that, and I want people to note how well Dave treats his dad. You just got to watch it to believe it. And after you watch it, you should text me, because I want to see if you see the same thing as me. He truly cares about his dad's opinion. He remembers all of his dad's stories. You can tell he's super important to him. So what was cool was when I was down at County Fire Tactics, you want to talk about being able to go and talk to people and building out your list of people that you know. I went up to Dave McGrail and just out of the blue, I was like, hey, I watched your scrap, and I told him about my dad and everything, just like I am now. And I said, I just want you to know that I just want to say thank you for how nice you treat your dad, and how much I can tell how much he means to you. And I said, I just want you to know that you're making a big difference in his life. So my big thing is just be nice to people and really help them be the best person that they can. Kindness goes a long ways, and we absolutely need that in the fire service. We will attack ourselves very hard, and it's kind of discouraging at times. So be nice to your other coworkers. It's gonna make us a lot better, and that's what the freaking citizens expect of us. So
yep, good point. Awesome point. Thank you very much. Anything else? Got anything else to add to that? That's a solid way to end. Solid way to end. Yeah, all right.
Look, I got all these damn notes.
Yep. You come prepared. I got a whole screen over here. So let's hit some things going on in North Dakota. Let's start. Prairie Fire Conference is coming up. I think the first night of it, I think there's a social on July 31st, but the classes are on August 1st and August 2nd. Got Kyle Romagus and Sean Duffy. Sean's going to give his lecture about build your culture, and then Romagus is going to give his cruel intentions class. And then that's on day one. They're both going to give their class. Then day two, they're going to do hands-on realities of search and the DIY engine. So those guys that, like I said, they teach all around the country and they're running around FDIC. They're going to have their classes here the end of the summer. So get signed up for Prairie Fire Conference. I know there's limited seats, so make sure you get signed up, get there early and get signed up and go have a good time. Southeast Regional School down in Wahpeton is October 30th through November 1st. No real announcements on any class that I've seen, but Clint down there has got a new burn building coming. They put in for a grant. They got a bunch of money. They got a 2-story Connex box with a vertical ventilation prop. You're able to pull ceiling that they'll have out there that's going to be sitting down at NDSCS permanently for their NDSC Associate's Degree program down there too. So that class or that weekend is going to be awesome. We do have running around the state. We've got an Instructor 1 Academy, July 17th through the 19th in Dickinson, and then September 25th through the 27th out in White Shield. The instructors are going to be putting on an Instructor 1 Academy around the state there. And then on to Instructors Conference. Instructors Conference was in December. We've been getting it a little bit bigger every year. This guy is a lot better speaker than I am. I spoke at the last one, but this guy's going to be way cooler. So they changed the dates. We're going to go October 2nd through the 4th. And they're going to have Chief Anthony Avilo, I believe, Eric or Lydia. You guys can correct me on that. I'll just read his bio here. Retired in March 2015 after 30 years of service. He was a deputy chief in North Hudson, New Jersey, Regional Fire and Rescue. Holds a master's degree in national security studies and a bachelor in fire science out of New Jersey. He was an adjunct professor at New Jersey City University, ISFSI Regional 23 Director, FDIC instructor, member of the advisory board for FDIC, through fire engineering, author. Like he's authoring some pretty cool books. Fireground Strategies, the 3rd edition through fire engineering, Fireground Strategy Workbook, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Co-authored with Ed Flood, the Full Contact Leadership in 2017. Contributed to author of Fire Engineering's Handbook for Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2, co-author of Study Guide, contributed to both volumes of Pass It On with Billy Goldfeder, collaborated in the Tactical Perspective DVDs in 2011. So this guy has been around, co-host of radio shows, Fireground Strategies, and other stuff for the streets with Jim Duffy on the Fire Engineering blog, Blog Talk Radio. And then he was a 2012 recipient of Fire Engineering and the ISFSI's George Post Instructor of the Year Award. So that is a guy that is going to be a big hitter at the Instructors Conference. So if you can make it down to Bismarck, October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, that is going to be a hard-hitting weekend. I think it's going to be awesome. So try to fill that up, make that a good weekend. Be a sponge, soak in anything that this guy offers. That would be really awesome to make that Instructors Conference big. I think we have hit all of our tabs, my man. We're sitting at an hour. That's what we usually like to shoot for, to keep our adult learners' attention. Because that is me for sure. I start to wander at an hour. So dude, you killed it. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. This is a great show, as all the others have been too. Everybody in North Dakota that's been adding to this, send us, shoot us a Facebook message if you think you've got somebody in your department that should be on here. We're always looking for guests. We're always looking for people to jump on here and talk to from all across the state. So Jason, I appreciate it. That one was really awesome. Let's look forward to Fuel the Fire episode number 9.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, we'll see you.